What's up, guys? Late night live. We are doing our thing, so we gotta get to it. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of Talk Shop. We are here, well, with a little bit of specials. We are here to get into Dawn of X #1. That includes X-Men, Marauders, Excalibur, New Mutants, X-Force, and that might be it. And it was all of the first issues after House of X and Powers of 10, Powers of X as well. And just getting into it, talking about it, see what we think. How are you feeling about Dawn of X? What books are you reading? Are you reading them all? Are you reading some of them? Are you into Old Boy the Summoner from what is it, Arakar or whatever, or Iraq or whatever? Are you down with him? Are you following the story with Apocalypse? Are you into Storm and her changes and all that? I'm interested to see where you're at with Dawn of X, because earlier we covered House of X and Powers of X with the homie. That's right, Jason. Jason Reeves, boy, he is a trip. But Jason Reeves loves that X-Men. Jason Reeves, we talked about House of X, Powers of X. I'll put the link somewhere up here or something so you can check that out. And we discussed what we thought about it, how we thought about it, all that jazz. And now I'm here to talk about Dawn of X. Now, before I get started, big shout out to Geek Fine Art that donated the art wall behind me. Dope stuff, Geek Fine Art on Instagram. So, X-Men, blue area of the moon, awesome view. How are you feeling about the living arrangements? Because Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey have conjoined rooms. And that is interesting, right? Like that's definitely different, right? Like I'm not tripping. That's definitely strange, right? That's something that you wouldn't expect, or maybe it's a new world. You know what I'm saying? Look, we mutants living together, living it up, doing our thing. We can live how we want to live. You know what I'm saying? We can live, this is our lives. But with that said, in general, the X-Men, the first book is still written by Hickman, so he's kind of following along in the main book. The art here, I'm digging. The art here is ultra fresh. Also, I love how we get a little callback to Xavier with Cyclops, kind of when he's first opening his eyes and first, kind of experiencing using the ruby glasses. And I really enjoy, as a whole, and I'll probably touch on this in further as we talk, but I love the sense of newfound community here. There's so much love, so much excitement, so much engagement now that we did not have before, of course, because of the fractured mutant community. And we'll talk about there's still some cracks out there. And everybody ain't just high-fiving each other. But to see, Cyclops and the way he is with Polaris, the way he is around his father, Rachel and Cable, just to see how just at peace he seems to be. It's something it's nice. It's nice to see that. And I really enjoy that. And you know what? It's about time that the X-Men have this. It's about time that mutants have this. And of course, like Jason Reeves and I were talking about before, we still don't know where this will fall with Fantastic Four and Avengers in the long run. But I love where we're at with Cyclops being so sure of himself. Bless you. Being so sure of himself. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Now, of course, with that beauty is not without a little bit of struggle. And one thing that I like about these groups, the X-Men book, it lets you know the squad. So we got like Cyclops, Storm, Polaris, Magneto, kind of like the main folks. We got Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Wolverine is in like multiple books, because he's Wolverine, But straight up, I'd venture to say that Cyclops may be more interesting in this new world than Wolverine is because of his newfound, the way his character is now. And I want you to keep your eyes on Dr. Reyes too. But the main storyline in X-Men 1 that I really did is the whole Orchis thing. Because we seen through the many lives of Moira that this is not over. This kind of goes on and on and on. And there's been many times that she's had to stop him and this, that, and the third. And them attacking the Orchis plant, seeing them work together is just, it's just interesting. It's like, wow, hold up. So Cyclops, Storm, Polaris, Magneto, they're all like tag teaming and high-fiving and moving along together and stuff. It's awesome. Like it's literally awesome to see how this came together. And to see that pretty much what we expected from their, I guess, their kind of visions of the future. Well, the more experiences from the future, not the visions, but the experiences from the future. We're already starting to modify and mess with the human DNA to try to jump ahead of mutants. And I dig where they're going as far as the fight and everything is concerned. And I just think that this is going to lead us to a very interesting place, because even though we've seen so far in the future, with I guess Moira's life, Moira's kind of like experiences, there's so much in the middle that we just don't know. We just haven't seen, we haven't experienced, we kind of have to live through, of course, in the comic pages, which is why kind of Hickman set it up like that, and why he jumped around with time so much, which I think is really, really cool. I guess speaking to that, something that is extremely fun to see is new matchups, new team ups, and also see the wear and tear on the team. We get moments with Cyclops and Storm that look pretty close and intimate, but we get moments with Cyc and Storm where he's like, she's like, I'm tired. We've been going all week, but I have to do this for my people. Like, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm not going to stop. And seeing them, Storm going off, Cyclops going off, Polaris and Magneto together, and they look, like everything's all good. And then Orchis to fight back the way they did by just immediately like saying like, yo, we gotta take this shot, gotta take this juice and go crazy. It shows the desperation from humanity against mutants, when honestly, it's not even necessary. They said, leave us alone. We got our island, and we'll give you drugs and stuff and all this free stuff, and all we want is our sovereignty. Just leave us alone. And even in that, there has to be some kind of insecurity or anti-movement against them at the very highest levels of government, which is just crazy to me. But one thing that really stuck out to me about the X-Men book is the art, and then also Dr. Reeves, and then just the family dynamic. The family dynamic of Corsair, of Cyclops, even mentioning like the way they can kind of connect with each other now due to Krakoa. I don't think we've seen a happier Cyclops. Maybe when he was about to marry Jean, like way back, but it's been a while. it's been a while since we've seen someone just seen him so happy. You know what I'm saying? It is good to see that. I'm glad that he's good on you, Cyclops. Good on you. But with that said, we got that issue 1, which I think is dig, and I think I'll probably follow X-Men. Let me know. Are you interested in following X-Men? Because the art was slick to me, the writing was slick to me. I was really taken by just the family vibe and the interesting team ups that we got. So X-Men 1 is, or the new X, not the new X-Men, but the X-Men book is probably one that I'll follow. Next we got Marauders, and that's a book that threw me because we learned early on, like, yo, Kitty isn't welcome or can't go through, or something's going on where she can't enter Krakoa. And I'm sure we will learn later on. Maybe in this new continuity, she's not technically a mutant or something. Who knows? But I do like the fact that something's going on with her or her powers or the way Krakoa sees her, and she's denied access, especially to someone like Kitty Pryde, who is essentially kind of loved by everybody. I don't think there's many people, and I mean, you can let me know, but I don't think there's many people who like dislike Kitty. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anybody sitting around like, oh man, I can't stand Kitty Pryde. So it's interesting to have her have this particular problem. But what I dig the most about this book, man, it's Emma Frost. Yo, straight up. What's intriguing about this book is that we get to see kind of a geopolitical response to to the mutants and Professor X in this movement, and a lot of these countries that are, they're not down with, letting their mutants go, and they still want to subjugate them and this, that, and the third, and they would rather keep them in caves than let them free and just let them leave. Like, because I mean, think about it. If you really, really hated these people, you'd be like, well, get out of here. I'm glad that y'all got your own island. Get out of my, in this case, we're talking about Russia. Russia be like, just get out of here. We don't want to scram. But it's not about that. It's about subjugation. It's about power. It's about demeaning these people. And I love the letters, the two different letters that we get shown that they send. One is like the official letter where it's like, hey, look, we hope that we can have a rigorous debate about our sovereignty with you in the coming months or years or whatever. And then there's another letter that's like, look, keep on playing. But we got to send somebody over there. And who we going to send, you ain't going to like. And I think they referred to Sebastian Shaw. You know who would be a good team to send around and get people on code that's tripping on you? Hang with me. And I think this would be a cool team up. If in that letter was like, y'all keep on playing, we going to send Sebastian Shaw and Sabretooth. That's all we going to send. You keep on playing. You think we mess around. It's a new world, baby. But what I like here is not only the response, but also Emma Frost and her very delicate balance with especially Storm. She even said, like, Storm said, look, I'll work with you, but I don't even want to see Emma. Like, she's like, I don't even want to deal with old girl. And Kitty, who wants to be called Kate now, she's like, yo, I don't know where my place is. And Emma's like, yo, look, I could use you. I could use, like, the way your power works, the fact that you can't just walk into Krakoa, you're in a perfect place to help these people all around in the way we need. And it's fire. I like this book. I like this book a lot, especially dealing with the underground politics of what the countries that aren't down with the sovereignty of mutants are doing and are going to do, and how it plays out, and where they'll end up, and what will happen to those that don't kind of fall in line. Because we see, you know, they go over to Russia. They meaning like Iceman, Storm, Kitty. I can't remember who else, but you know, a couple of folks. They go over there. They're like, "Yo, look, give them free." You know what I'm saying? Or no, Iceman goes through the Krakoa joint like, "Give them free." They like, "Nah," and they got power dampeners. And dude get his butt whooped and almost get shot. Then they got to take the ship over there, and when they go, it's not a good look, yo. Kitty messes up the suit, and the fight is just all downhill from there. I like how Kitty phases objects into people, and yo, she went off in a good way. And being someone who is a huge action fan, love action, this is a book that I'm probably going to follow. X-Men I'll follow, Marauders I will follow. I like this a lot. Seeing how this comes out, seeing, you know, them coming back with Iron Man. I mean, not Iron Man, sorry. Seeing them come back with Colossus. Seeing the kind of like the underground work that they're doing. You know, that Black Ops type work that they're doing. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. And them having to deal with these different factions in different countries is something that I think is going to be real sick in the long run. So yeah, you know, like the issue with seeing Bishop going to Taipei, I believe, speak like, you know, kind of just on a low, slinking around. I like these teams of people that are just like on a low, sneaking around and, you know, backdoor deals or whatever. I like that. And I think this book is going to, kind of survive on how interesting these meetings, these missions, and these different governments and their battles will be. Now, big shout out to Kwanzaa Osajifo, who brought up the look of Storm in this book. Storm is drawn like essentially like a white girl, or maybe, you know, like a light Greek girl or something in this book. And I got to touch on this because even though I like the art in this book, yo, let's be for real. He made a very good point. I believe it was him that made a very good point. Spider-Man's suit is a very specific red and blue. And if it was ever changed, everybody would notice, everybody would make a comment. But somehow people are very loose with the complexion of Storm. And when I say loose with the complexion of Storm, she can go from being a brown skin, you know, or dark skinned woman that's definitely visually easily identifiable as a black woman, to essentially looks like a white girl. And there's been tons of, you know, articles and conversations on kind of how they throw European features on Storm a lot. And this book, especially one, I believe it's like on page 34 or whatever, there's this one spot where she's extremely close, and she's essentially a white girl in this shot. And there's a couple of shots where she's browner, but they never really seem to nail her tone. And it's an issue. It's an issue because you don't have this problem with Cyclops. You don't have this problem with Wolverine. You don't have this problem with Rogue. You don't have this problem with Jean Grey, Professor X, any of that. So I had to bring it up because it definitely happens in this book. And it's weird because there's some pages in this book where she's definitely brown. And then all of a sudden it's like, hold up, what? And, you know, her hairstyle already lends to being more European. But then her skin tone, even from like page 34 to page 35, skin tone goes from being like essentially kind of like a white Latina to like sort of like a brown woman. It's very inconsistent. And I don't think these inconsistencies would happen with any other character. And we got to continue to call that out and let Marvel know and everyone else know, like, we see you. Like, I mean, there's only so much power we have, except the fact that we got the microphone and we see you. We see you. You know, and you don't do this to Spider-Man. You don't do this to Iron Man, Doctor Doom. You don't do this to nobody else. You know, you ain't never gonna look at Doctor Doom and be like, yo, is Doctor Doom Cuban? Like, you ain't never gonna say that. You know, it's never gonna be that confusion. So it's like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Editors that's working on this book, you know what I'm saying? Stop, or any book, stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's corny. We see you. It's old. Stop it. But all in all, as far as the artwork, I dig the art in here. Not as much as I dig the art in X-Men, but I do dig the art here. Emma is someone who always intrigues me, especially in this continuity now. Really intrigues me. It's going to keep me around. Also figuring out what in the world is going to happen at these other countries that aren't too friendly with Krakoa and aren't interested in Krakoa or having a open trade or dialogue with them at all. And what steps we might have to go through to get them in line, get them on code. You know what I'm saying? So I dig that. Shouts to, I guess next up would be probably, I guess I'll get into Excalibur next. I'll follow sort of like the reading order, like the proper reading order. The Excalibur book is another book that I think is ultra fresh. Big shout out to Therese. Therese in the house. What up? What up? Therese said he loves the Ninja Turtle painting. On the real, the art behind me is mostly Geek Fine Art on Instagram. Dave Farrar did the Turtles piece. I think he still has a couple pieces of that left because I know he sells a lot of the Turtles at his shows, but I got my hands on one. But yeah, Geek Fine Art. It's not spelled no special way, no Z's or nothing in there. But check him out on Instagram. It's dope. Now on to Excalibur. This is a book that I'm on the fence with. I like the art. I like Psylocke. I like Apocalypse a whole lot. But I don't know if I care enough about like Rogue and Gambit anymore to really, really follow this book. What makes this book interesting is Apocalypse. He kills it for me in this book. The way people refer to him and respond to him, and the way he refers and responds to them, it's Apocalypse, man, in rare form. Like you get to see him where he's like, he's not pressed anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely in his element. He's not pressed. But what we get here is a lot of like, we get some cool art, but I think that Psylocke's face is definitely inconsistent throughout this joint. And I'm not sure if I care enough about. All right, let me ask you this. Let me ask you if you're checking this out. How much do you really care about, I don't know, Psylocke, Brian, her other brother, I can't think of his name. Are you really that interested in them? Now, the Psylocke that we have in Fallen Angels is another story. But Morgan Le Fay, I'm not super pressed on a story about her. And what that means for Brian, for Betsy, for any of that, I'm just not pressed on it. And I don't know if Apocalypse is enough to keep me interested in this book. I don't know, man. This is one that was okay reading. I'm just not interested in the mystery of, old girl at the end stealing the gems or whatever, and having her be part of like Coven Akaba or whatever. I'm not interested in the covens or anything like that. It doesn't really do anything for me. And Morgan Le Fay has been kind of meh for me, in my opinion, for a long, long while. When I say long, long, I mean long, long. So Excalibur, even though I love how the way Apocalypse is drawn in this one, you can tell like they was giving him his just doing it. Apocalypse is imposing as ever. He's regal. He's I'd almost say majestic in this, but I don't know if it's enough for me to follow this whole book, yo. I'm not digging it like that. I guess we'll see later on if this Morgan Le Fay thing kind of like evens out, whole stuff with Avalon and other world. But I'm just like, yo, man, I'm interested in what's happening on Earth with Krakoa. I'm not tripping on it. Uh, but following that, we had New Mutants. Hickman's on this, but I'm not impressed on this one either. I don't like the art, but I like the New Mutants. I just don't like how they're positioned in the world with the rest of the X-Men. They always seem to be positioned in a way where they're like on these wacky hijinks. And nah, the art I ain't digging it. I did like Magic versus Old Boy. I've always thought Magic was kind of cool. But Magic versus the dude where she cuts his arm off, I thought that was cool. Mondo is always fun to see because he's always so laid back. You know what I'm saying? But it's another one that's not enough for me. I don't know. I just need more. I'm not really interested in the Shi'ar right now. I'm sure they'll probably come into play in something important in the future. But what we see here is them. They're like, yo, we're going to go out, take a plan out there so we can, bring our boy back and we can chill. We can all kick it. I don't know who they're going. Can't remember who they're going. Is it Gabe? I can't remember who they're going to get. But I'm just not interested in the Shi'ar. I'm not interested in them being caught by the Shi'ar. None of them really, outside of Mondo and Sunspot, who didn't really even get to shine, literally. Sunspot didn't even get to shine in this episode. So I don't know. There was some conversational stuff that I thought was cool, but enough to follow a whole book, I'm not sure. There's tons of stuff I got to read. I don't know if I can hang around for this. One good thing that I like about New Mutants is that we got to see another side of Krakoa, where there were mutants just living their lives in their new utopia, or even if it's not a utopia, they were living in a place where they could just be themselves and they didn't have to worry about humans or the Friends of Humanity or, Trask or whoever coming after them. So I did like to see that. You see a mom with her kids running around and you get to see some other cool stuff that's interesting. Also big shout out to Mr. Black Culture. What up? Peace, peace. Good to have you in the house. It's nice to see the other side of Krakoa where people are just living their lives and just loving the newfound freedom they have. But this book, I don't think I'd recommend it. It's weird. New Mutants used to be hot for me, but now I'm just not into it. And Starjammers never really. It's weird. Starjammers should be dope, but Starjammers never really. Now I do like how Corsair was like, well, check this. You on your own. Peace. I do like how they left him out there. But yo, on the real, Corsair told them to stay on the ship. All right. Corsair said, yo, stay on the ship. We got to go do something. Stay your butt here. Don't do nothing. I'll be back. And they went off the ship. They got caught up with some Shi'ar Imperial troops or whatever. Next thing you know, they getting shot at. Somebody getting hit. You know what I'm saying? Corsair like, look, I told y'all to stay and we got to go. We on a timetable. We out. And he was like, look, you want to be in Shi'ar space? You in Shi'ar space. Peace. And I do like that. I do like that. I don't know if this is going to bring any extra static between him and his son, but if his son knows his father, I'm pretty sure he's not surprised. And also, I'm pretty sure that the New Mutants were told, do not take your butt into space. So I guess that's another part too. So will I follow? Will I follow New Mutants? No. Did I like the first issue? It was alright. You know what I'm saying? But none of the characters that I wanted to show out showed out, and it's hard for me to be interested in a book where I'm not really invested in any of the characters, and the way it's written is very like kind of like the quirky, wacky ones. It's just not for me. If you're digging the book, holla at me. Keep me posted and updated on what's going on. But I am not following that or Excalibur because I ain't going there. Let's see. Therese asks, "What's my favorite X-Men lineup?" All right, if I was gonna do, all right, so let's say, okay, how about this? I'll take yours and put a little twist on it. All right, what X-Men team would I put together for the most dangerous mission that I think they've ever been on to all come back alive? Let me ask you this: do they all have to be X-Men members, or can they be mutants? Or do they have to be X-Men members? Let me ask you that first, and I'll see where you go with that. But while you do that, I'll start off with people that are X-Men members only. If I was going to put it together a team of X-Men that I think would be, let's say, nigh unstoppable, similar to how I did with the women of Star Wars. I'd have to say Cyclops and Storm. You got to start with those two. Easily, you got to start with those two. They're just leaders. They're two different type of leaders, but they're both leaders, and I trust them with my life. So, got to start with Cyclops and Storm. Wolverine, it's a slam dunk. All right, so Therese says only members. Cool. So, Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine. And let's say 7. Let's do a magnificent 7. So, okay, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm. It's 3. It's top 3. I'm going Emma instead of Jean. Emma's craftier. She does the dirt that needs to be done. And Jean has always seemed weak to me. Like, for being Omega level, she always comes through weak with it. So, Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Emma, Nightcrawler. Now, you need a teleporter on the team. You just need one. You never know. You got to slip in and out, get into. You need a teleporter on the team, man. Now, people are going to ask, which Nightcrawler? I'm going to have to go with, I believe it's Kurt. Kurt was the one with the sword, right? I'm going to go with Kurt. Not with, or was it the other one with, who is the Nightcrawler from Age of Apocalypse? Him, that one. But Therese said for me, it's the 90s animated show lineup and throw a Nightcrawler. Yeah. So I'm going to put together a Magnificent 7. So Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Emma, Nightcrawler. Then I'm probably going to have to go to, I'll go Bishop, because I do think we need someone who can kind of like take a hit, like he's kind of absorbs energy. So since I can't get Sebastian Shaw, I'll use Bishop instead, and he can still get that energy and channel that energy with or without the gun. So that's good. Lastly, this is a tough one, because I kind of want to go, this is a tough one. This is kind of a gimme, but the final one, I'd go with Monet. Yeah, Therese, there's a Nightcrawler, I guess the one we all know, and then there was another Nightcrawler for Age of Apocalypse back like in the 90s. I'll go with Monet, because you need someone who's super duper smart, but also the ability to like change her physiology and stuff. It's kind of having like Beast that also is kind of like a Swiss Army knife as well. So yeah, I think I'd go Cyclops, Storm, Emma, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Bishop, Monet. That would be my Mag 7. I think I'd put them together. I think that team can pretty much take on anything. Yeah, I think that's my team. That's what I'll go with. Yeah, I'll go with that. So speaking of dope teams, X-Force is a book that I'm gonna follow. We open up dope action. We got Domino. We don't know what happens with her. She gets into it, and she ain't got enough luck to get out of that mess. But I do like seeing that there's these other pockets of like secret societies and stuff that are just like very anti-mutant, and how's that going to play, and how's that going to kind of like converge with either what the Orchis Project is doing or not, you know what I'm saying, and how the mutants will deal with them. I like the fact that we get a little time with Black Tom Cassidy, who has always been a very obscure character, and Sage. I like Sage a lot. Just awesome. And in this book, the art I'm already on, and also I like the theory of, well, and of course we know what X-Force is. It's kind of all the dope missions and more action, and I'm an action guy. So I like this reoccurring theme here in this book, and also with Fallen Angels, of like us getting soft. Us meaning like mutants, because we're on this island, there's no danger, and blah, blah, blah. And I like how they showed how they set up the perimeter and everything in this book, and kind of their defense system, you know what I'm saying? And how it's like plant controlled. So I really dig that. But what's cool here is seeing Black Ops perpetrated against the mutant state of Krakoa, and wondering where it comes from. Did it come from Dude in Sokovia that just met with Professor X? Did it come from Russia? Did it come from Taipei? Who knows where it came from? And seeing Colossus come back, shot up, seeing these other, I believe, maybe mutants, but maybe not, but they're definitely Black Ops and definitely going to kill mutants. Seeing how effective they were was scary, because like Wolverine said, like, yo, look, we're getting soft being out here on our own and nobody messing with us. Also seeing how the issue, not Rogue. And I'll touch on that in a second, but seeing the issue here, what happened with the attack, how slow the response was a very interesting piece. And then also seeing what ended up with Professor X and, his death, and how will it affect the rest of the mutant societal body? And is he really dead? Because of course the mental backups, and also, is that even really the real Professor X? Like, I mean, Professor X had to know, as smart as he is, had to know something like this was definitely coming. So yeah, something like this, had to know. Now on to Terez's comment. He said no Rogue. Honestly, Rogue has no place on a team. Like, okay, all right. What does Rogue, on the 7 that I mentioned, what does Rogue bring to that team? All right, we got Cyclops and Storm. Cyclops, maybe the best leader, second only to maybe Storm. Cyclops is a tactician and a true leader, on top of being a mutant that has powers that can, with optic blast, that can blow like a master mold in half. Storm, who has Omega level weather power conducting skills. I don't know. All right. Emma, whose mental telepathy control is just about unmatched, but maybe 2 other people. And one of them, Jean, who is, like Jason Reeves says, almost useless. Then you have Wolverine, tracker, fighter, soldier. He's ride or die. He got your back. Nightcrawler, someone not only to keep you honest, but like I said, someone that can get you in and out, and an awesome fighter too. Awesome fighter and a person that can get you in and out of jams really quick. Then you move on to Bishop, someone who can absorb energy like energy blast or whatever, absorb it, redirect it, or use it to, kind of like contain that power. And then you have Monet, who is perfect. That's her mutant ability, is just being perfect. Rogue only brings being super strong to that. She doesn't have the energy blast from Carol. She does all she can do is like suck up powers. And in times also suck up like magic, I guess too, because they kind of allude to that in Excalibur. But Rogue doesn't really have any place on my team. Neither does Gambit. And I got love for Gambit. It's Steve himself. But nah, I think I got a hot squad. I got a hot squad. They're coming for me, but I got a hot squad. But X-Force is one that I'll follow because I really want to know who's got the stones to openly attack. Well, no, not openly. It's a Black Ops, but to kind of straight up attack Krakoa at the home, not in one of the like little outposts or something, but at the home of Krakoa. Who would do that, and who would even go on that mission? You know what I'm saying? Also, is Professor X really gone? Which I don't think so. There's so much here that I'm interested in, and also I want to see the action. I'm there for the action. So yeah, seeing how it went down, the aftermath with how Magneto is, I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna definitely follow this and see where it goes. Next and last is of Donna X #1 is Fallen Angels. Straight up, it's weird. I love the color. I love the cover, but the interior art, it's not grabbing me. It's weird because the interior art, is very similar. What you see is what you get from the cover, but it's like it works on the cover, but it's just not happening for me on the interiors. But that being said, I do enjoy this team up of Cable, X-23, and Psylocke. And was it Apocryphy? What is the dude's name? I think it's let me search real quick. I think it's Apathy. But Apoc. That's who it is. I like the mystery of Apoc. I like Psylocke in this book. And come on, man. Mr. Sinister, come on. Mr. Sinister is that nice little spice that I enjoy. I also like how Magneto is here, especially transposed against the Magneto that we see in X-Men #1, where people are like, Magneto, you're our hero, blah, blah, blah. And all the kids are like, we want to fight with you. And he was like, yo, you don't want to fight with me, all right? Hove did that. So you ain't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So here, I'm not super sold on the art. I don't think it's bad because I love it on the cover. The cover is like dope, but the interiors, I don't know. And this whole thing with Captain Britain, I don't know if I care enough, but Mr. Sinister is enough to. Mr. Sinister and Magneto in the same book. Come on, man, you gotta. And then also how they refer to each other. Talking about like Magneto's like his kind of like arrogance and everything in this time of need. It's just cool. So will I stick around for Fallen Angels? I think so. So for me, I'm gonna follow X-Men. I've already read X-Men issue #2, but I'll cover that on down to X2 when I whittle these down. X-Men, Marauders, I'll follow. X-Force and Fallen Angels. That's 4 books. That's 4 out of 6 books. That's not bad. That's not a bad look. That's a pretty good percentage. I don't know what it comes out to be in, but I don't know, like 80%. I don't know, whatever it is. But 4 out of 6 books, I'm down with. Marauders, I think they should step their art game up, and they definitely need to step up how they work with the complexion of Storm. And I got my eye on you. But I'm digging it. I'm digging Dawn of X for the most part. I really want to see where Mr. Sinister goes. I really want to see where this political landscape in mass of the globe goes. And I really want to see how we deal with open and outright threats to the mutant state, and how Hickman handles that. I really want to see how that plays out for everybody. So big shout out to Therese says, well, your knowledge of X-Men is more broad than mine. My X-Men knowledge consists only of what I've seen on TV shows, movies, video games. Haven't got to the comic books yet, where there's more to discover. Actually, you know what? Between the new X-Men, I remember that run. That was an awesome run. Big shout out to Dope Spill Comics. I just got his stuff just rolling because he's awesome. But between the X-Men 90s, X-Men Evolution, and Wolverine and the X-Men, and then with the video games on Genesis, there's actually a lot of knowledge. They pull a lot from the comics. There's actually a lot there. When you get to the movies, there's fast and loose play with the kind of story of X-Men. But between the animated series and the video games, there's actually a good amount of sort of like from the comics knowledge. When you get to the movies, they kind of, play and get kind of fluid with what happens or didn't happen and kind of start to develop their own, I guess, mythology of X-Men. For instance, like Dark Phoenix, the first about 15 minutes of Dark Phoenix is kind of on brand for what happened in the comics, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, it goes to weird places. But Dark Phoenix, the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, I'm like, well, I'm not mad at it. And then kind of goes to some weird places. The train scene isn't bad. But yeah, the Silent Council, well, the Council of Krakoa, the Silent Council, these guys that Domino was with and disappeared and she'd been gone for a week. Orcus, the other countries that aren't working, and then also the kind of Black Ops team that's going to go there and kind of enforce it anyway. X-Force, seeing where that's going, is Professor X dead or not? Magneto and how he'll have to fill that role if need be. There's a lot going on that I think is interesting in this storyline, interesting enough to keep me around, at least for the next month or so. And we'll see how these next 4 books come through. I've already read X-Men issue 2, which I dig, but I'll cover that on the next, on Dawn of X number 2, because, of course, this video is getting mad long. But, guys, I've had a ton of fun hanging with y'all. Thank you. Holla at me. I'm holla at you. Down in the comments. Tell me what books you're going to stick with. Are you sticking with all 6? Are you like, yo, man, look, I'm staying with the main title, X-Men. I don't know about nothing else. Therese says it's 65%. All right, 65% is actually kind of bad. When you think 65, ain't 65 an F? Dang. I don't know, it just feels better than when you say 65, it sounds bad. But guys, thank you for chilling. Hit that thumbs up. You can hit that thumbs down, but if you do, I'm going to send Orcus after you. And they are willing to turn themselves into literal primates to take you out. They're willing to blow themselves up to ensure a victory. They ain't playing. So I love the books that I outlined, which is X-Men, I'm going to follow that. Marauders, follow that. X-Force and Fallen Angels, I think those are cool. I think I'm going to follow those. And guys, let's talk a little bit more about X-Men. So before I bounce, check out NERDSoul on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, shop.thatnerdsoul.com. Pick up this shirt. I got Krakoa shirts that are super dope. I got some Milestone shirts. I got some X-Men shirts that you can check out. And I think I got another X-Men shirt. Well, I just did Krakoa. Maybe I should do another shirt. Not another X-Men themed shirt. Maybe another shirt. But yeah, with that said, guys, thank you so much for hanging, for chilling. Big shout out to Mr. Black Culture. Big shout out to Therese. Nice to see you on Late Night Live or wherever you're at. It might be daytime live for you. But oh, Therese said it's a high D. I'm trying to imagine going home to my mama, who was a teacher, who was the daughter of another woman who was also a teacher, and tell her, but it's a high D. You would have gave me a high hand to the back of the head. But guys, thank you for chilling. Me to you, I'm just saying, peace. Man, X-Men. X-Men is really Wakanda, or BX, Wakanda and X-Men. We're going to do all those. But yeah, peace. Hi, come on. I said, peace. What you going to do? I said, peace. What you got to say? What? I said, come on. It's like, it's almost like Professor X knew he was going to die because he wasn't even tripping when the dude kind of pulled up on him with the gun. You know what? I'm pretty sure he ain't dead. I'm gonna say he definitely ain't dead. So yeah, he ain't dead.